When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
Not all monsters are under the bed. Some are sleeping next to you. Welcome to Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, featuring retired FBI Special Agent and Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, Robin Dreeke.
Luigi Mangione, the man that has been accused, and obviously he's on the video of shooting the UnitedHealthCare CEO about a month ago, Brian Thompson. It's a horrible, horrible case, but he has been in court in the last several weeks, and I'll say this, animated. Robin Dreeke, retired FBI Special Agent, Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. What's been your take on this guy now that we've seen more of him in public, more of his interactions with the world, with cameras, with light?
I think I have a negative confirmation bias on this guy.
Yeah.
Because every time, from the very get-go, I've said this guy is not some righteous, Robin Hood kind of guy trying to right a wrong of society. He is a self-centered, narcissistic, grandiose moron.
Yeah.
And every time you see him acting out in court or anyone with rage and all these things, it's all about him. And so, granted, it could be something else, but every time I see a data point like this, to me, it confirms my own confirmation bias that this guy's a self-centered narcissist.
It's becoming far and far more evident. My question is, when will the rest of the world see it for what it is? I understand the rage that there is against healthcare companies. Nobody is very happy with them at all. I've been through hell with them. Many people have too. But the solution is obviously not what he did. But at the same point, this guy, it doesn't even have a story. He didn't even have any issues with the healthcare company. No. He just decided to take up this cause. I mean, I feel like he could have taken up pretty much any cause he wanted to and tried to be the Robin Hood of it. It just happens to be that healthcare was the one that he went after, and he's still being looked at as this kind of hero. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, he's not a hero by any stretch of the imagination. And, even more so because he had no connection. I can only imagine if he had a connection to any of this.
Yeah, and it's the only thing I'm thinking right now is his and he's got a great defense attorney in there. They got to keep him quiet.
Yeah,
they need to build a narrative. Like you said, he needs a story, and he doesn't have a story. This was just a senseless act of, hey, look at me. And here's what the really, besides the loss of life and the tragedy of everyone impacted by this, look what he actually could have done. I mean, because he does have this charisma about him from these wackadoo people. I hate saying those words, but he could have really done a lot of good if he chose to attack this in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Especially with the resources of his parents behind him, especially since they're actually in this industry as well. I mean, just think about if he had actually channeled that energy, that grandiosity and his wealth, or at least his family's wealth, he could have actually made a big difference in this area. Instead, he chose to kill someone. Because he wasn't being paid attention to enough, and at least that's my conjecture on it.
No, I agree. It's just foolish, and that's where my thought is like, if he had a story, it would be a hell of a lot more powerful of an argument. But there just isn't anything there. But I don't think that necessarily even changes the narrative, as so many things in life don't, where it's like, well, what their intent was didn't really make any sense, but we're going to take it as this, and we're going to keep running with it. There's a lot of fear out there. And I mean, there's been arguments. I mean, it did look a little ridiculous the other day when there was, I believe in New York, they were talking about the CEO protection line or something where they could, and I understand where they're coming from, but it's also somewhat tone deaf to the rest of the world who's like, what the hell's going on here? Maybe handle this in a slightly different way. But there is a lot of fear out there. What do you think this will move the needle? Do you think this will change anything? And if it does, what kind of signal does that send?
I mean, change anything in the healthcare industry?
Yeah, I mean, if it does change things, and look, things certainly need to change. But what I'm scared of is, that changes things, and then others go, oh, look, that changed things. We can change things that was effective. That's the point.
All events always change things. The one constant of the universe is that we're all going to eventually leave this plane, and we're all going, and time cannot be stopped. And every day a new day comes along, change happens. And so sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. You can't control the tempo. And so this did change things. I think there will be a greater focus on healthcare industry and fixing things. As long as, and here's the challenge here, as long as he's not celebrated as the hero that ignited the change, there'll be less likelihood of it happening that way again. If the media keeps up and keeps helping, these wackadoos promoting him as a social justice warrior against what he actually is, then we live in fear of him. Every time someone gets notoriety in some way, the syndrome is called criminal notoriety. I mean, a lot of times, just look at the first Trump assassination attempt back in July of 24. Everyone keeps looking for the motive of that young kid. It wasn't about Trump. It was, I've said this a lot of times too, it was about criminal notoriety. He wanted to be noticed. He wanted to be seen. And this is a way to be seen. Same thing here. Mangione just wanted to be seen. He didn't even have a direct relationship to this guy. As you said, there's no story there. He just wanted to be seen. And so the importance here is just to not celebrate someone who just wanted to be seen. There needs to be a compelling narrative there as well, with no violence that's going to create a change in our society. So who knows?
I agree.
But yeah, if he gets celebrated in this way, or continues to be, that's where the copycats start coming in.
Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're neck deep in a dark, twisted tale. And just as the tension peaks, bam, a commercial about some miracle diet pill breaks the spell. It's like finding a fly in your soup after the first bite. But here's the fix. True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. You get to enjoy your crime stories without the junk. Ad-free episodes, extended interviews that go beyond the surface, and early access to all the gruesome details. It's like swapping out a can of cheap beer for a glass of fine whiskey. So search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and keep the darkness flowing uninterrupted.